is that you will directly or indirectly impact, I think it was 250,000 people in your life. Not
like
trying.
believing in the power of yourself, that you can do everything. And it's like, when you even think of the whole story of who Lucifer was, it's that he just believed he could do it all and he didn't need God.
Welcome back to the Look Up Podcast. This is your host, Roman Downing.
With your other host, Alani Downing.
That's right. We're back.
We're back. I took a week off. I honestly just wasn't feeling like recording, so I didn't record. And now we're back. So welcome back.
Stuff.
Hopefully you were able to catch up on some old episodes last week. We have a lot of really, really good ones. And yeah, here we
Definitely.
are. Here we are with the next episode.
She's looking at me like, hello, we rehearsed this. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
So anyways, we're back. It's hot as, very hot in Vegas. We just got back from San Diego. We were in San Diego for about a week or so. Right. That was nice, just to kind of get away. And I'm just imagining the sound because I don't have the headphones, so I'm not listening. But all good stuff. But yes, San Diego, it's beautiful. There's just something about being near the water on the beach that just brings such a sense of peace and calm. Just knowing, like, look at all of that's out there, all that craziness. And there was some crazy stuff going on too with like people missing, you know, all this kind of stuff when we were there that got swept away into the water. And you just look at the water, it just looks like so beautiful. You know what I mean? Like it looks so pretty, and yet there's all of this, like, rage and atrocity almost too, you know? So
it's like a beautiful monster, you know what I mean?
It is. It's a beautiful monster.
There's duality to everything, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Like we were talking about, there's a thin line between love and hate.
Yeah. I mean, that's true.
Right.
So anyways, not to get super deep because I'm starting to think. There's been some stuff we've been talking about this past really couple days, and we just kind of wanted to bring it on the pod. And there was a quote that we were talking about in the car. As you guys know, the whole reason we wanted to start this podcast was because of all the conversations we have together in the car, which we just find really interesting and intriguing and want to talk more about.
Maybe we should do one of these in the car.
Maybe we should. Well, maybe not. It's kind of hot. Maybe when it cools down a little bit. Okay, but there was a quote that you said, and it was really good. And I put it down in my phone because I thought that we should talk more about this and like expound upon it. But it said, or he said, if you're a low production human, you are of low value. And what were we talking about? I think we were talking about. No, it wasn't his opinion. It was a quote in reference to how a lot of people view society.
Right.
So a lot of times, so you did say it.
I did say that.
But it wasn't your opinion.
Context.
So maybe I should preface that. Basically, that you were saying that people in this society, if you don't produce well, then people think that you are someone of low value. Be it consciously or unconsciously. So someone who has a lot of success in their life because they did a lot of production, or they're studying a lot, or they make a lot of money, or they have a lot of hustles and grinds, and they're someone who is a higher value human than of someone who maybe doesn't have all that, maybe works a regular job, maybe even someone who's unemployed, or someone who is in those areas of town where you want to roll up your windows and lock your doors and look straight. Like that you view those people as almost a lower value human. I'm not saying you, but I'm saying
people in general.
Like in society, we've kind of noticed that. And I know I've talked a little bit about like my opinion on success lately, and kind of just viewing what that definition really looks like. And I think that when we start to look at it as only things of material things, or I guess worldly, then that's where we can start viewing, having like an us versus them.
Yeah. Without a doubt.
Whatever side you're on.
Yeah. And I think for some reason that sells. I think that mentality sells in the world today. Like, let's figure out what side you're on.
Right.
So you can be on our team.
Or like, so I know how to treat you.
So I know how to treat you.
Yeah.
So I know if you're on my team or not. So we can go against the opposition. Right.
Right.
So I think there's a whole market in that. I mean, look at everything that's kind of just out. You know, you want to be a part of something. I think a lot of people yearn to be a part of something, and I think the marketing is targeted towards that specifically. And I think that's why sometimes people will be like, well, if you're a successful person, then you do these things. And if you don't do these things, then
you're average,
you're not us.
Or you're a
Right,
loser.
right.
Yeah.
You're not us. You're the opposite of us. You're the
Yeah.
opposite of successful.
Yeah.
If you're not waking up at 6 a.m., 5 a.m., 4 a.m. every day, then you're the opposite of successful.
Right.
If you're not,
Right.
doing this, and that, and reading this many books in a year, then you are not what I've marketed and branded as successful. And you have to agree with me. You have to be on my team, and you have to be on my side. If you're not on my side,
Right.
then you're lame.
Right.
I don't even want to be around you. Don't be around those types of people. Cut those people off, right? And I think it's selling division. I think it sells division in our world. And what's happening right now? Everybody's divided right now. We are the least united than we've ever been in American history, apart from the Civil War. There is like no unity at all, and I think that what I was saying before, that like you're viewed as a lesser human if you have a different thought.
Yeah, like it can even go down, just by your own opinion.
Your own opinion. You're viewed as lesser if you
not
have a
even
different
just like
opinion
production wise, but
not even production. You know what I mean? You're just viewed as lesser if you have a different opinion, and if you produce less. You're nothing.
I think the worst part is when it's found in the realm of believers, where it's like if you don't go to church every Sunday, then, or if you don't like have your morning devotionals or miss a day, or if you aren't serving in a community group or all this kind of stuff, and you start putting, I guess, like there was a service I remember, and he was comparing it to like a ruler stick. And it's like we almost put this ruler stick next to us to measure our sense of worthiness, be that as a believer, as a person of insignificance, just as a human in general. We have this stick that we believe that will determine our sense of worthiness. If we do more, then therefore I am more worthy.
Right.
Or if, opinion wise, if I believe in this makes me more accepted, therefore I am worthy. And so I guess it all goes down and boils down to that basic question of like, what makes you worthy? And when you find that worth, in my personal opinion, in the worldly ideals, be that profession, politics.
Not even if you go find it, if you go looking for it, because you will never find it.
Yes, if you try to find your worth in anything that revolves basically around someone else, another person, right? You will always be upset and miserable and never...
The idolization of man.
Maybe you won't even be miserable, but you'll never feel enough.
Right.
Because it'll never be enough. There will always be someone that is better than you at something.
Right.
And you don't even have to look far to find it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Open up your phone.
Yeah. I mean, you open up social media, and this is why I have my ups and downs with social media. I like it at sometimes, and then sometimes I can't stand it. Like this week I deleted social media, and who knows, maybe next week I'll download it again and I'll be posting every day. I don't know. But there's just these things about social media that just, my mind just isn't honestly healthy enough to handle, because some of it, it's too much comparison. It's
I think there's strength in even realizing that in itself, that, okay, my mind isn't ready or isn't strong enough right now to be dealing with this. And I think it takes a lot of growth and maturity to even recognize that.
Right.
And make that decision that, hey, I'm going to take a break from social media right now, because every time I pick up the phone, I'm on it.
Yep.
That's a problem, right?
Yep.
There was I don't even remember, I think it was maybe in Dare. And for some reason, this example always sticks out to me. It's just like, an alcoholic is an alcoholic no matter which way that you cut it. Whether you're drinking every hour, or you need to have a drink every day, or you have a drink every week. But if it's scheduled and planned or habitual, you have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
You have a problem. So if every time you're picking up your phone and you're opening these apps and you're scrolling and you're doing the same emotion without even thinking, you have an issue. And if you can be mature enough to be like, all right, I think I got a problem. I'm getting addicted to other people's lives and I'm forgetting to actually experience mine. And it's causing me to feel lesser than, right? And it's just like, man, why am I not in Milan? Why am I not in Italy? Why am I not in or whatever? And I think that, and that's where I was going with that quote, is just like, man, if you're not us, then you're not nothing.
Right. And so that's where, again, like you have to look at that measuring stick and realize that there is no measuring stick when it comes to worthiness in this life, because you were fearfully and wonderfully made already. And at the end of the day, the only opinions that really matter of yourself is yourself, and working to be the greatest, person that God wanted you, created you to be.
Right.
So
we
dogs.
got our third host in the house. I don't know if you guys heard that.
I mean, I'm sure you saw her in the last video.
Oh, yeah.
She's like throwing her bone on me, and now she's growling and wants us to throw her bone again. But again, it's like God has no measuring stick for us. I think so many times we can even think that, okay, well, I'm not successful, so therefore I ruined this life that God gave me, or I'm not this, or I didn't do that, or I don't look like this, or I don't speak like that, or you can replace that word with anything.
Right.
But in reality, and how it truly is, because God has given us so much grace and is like, there's so much love, there is no need for us to fight for a sense of like worthiness, because we are enough through Him.
Right.
Right.
Yep. 100%. 100%. And I think like what our pastor was talking about in church this weekend, God's not interested in anything else but your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Right. He's after your heart, and he's after what your character is and what you feel and hold close to you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And if all of that was true, like you were talking about, where it's a worthiness type of thing, like, oh, I need to be a perfect human being and then I'll get into heaven, or I need to live this saint life, or then I get into heaven, or I need to be a certain way. David would have never been king. Saul was like the epitome of a perfect king. He stood a foot above everyone else. He was big and strong. He had military, prowess, and he was great looking, all of these things. And then David was this scrawny, he was this scrawny shepherd, pretty much, that was good at music. We've made fun of probably a David before, in high school, there's like the nerdy kid, the band kid or something like that. Right. And just knowing that God has a plan for every single one of us, and it isn't about what you do or what you're trying to prove to him. It's where are you keeping him in your heart? And David, like it says, throughout the Bible, that David is a man after God's own heart. And that's what he's interested in. He's not interested in you trying to prove anything. He's interested in, do you have me in your heart? That's all he cares about. That's it. And I think sometimes it's almost like too simple. It's too simple for us. And we're like, no, it's got to be way more complex. I have to pray these many times a day, or I have to get baptized, or I have to, all these things that maybe religion has taught is a requirement for salvation. God's never said that that's a requirement for his salvation. He's already sent his son down for all of these already.
And that's why it isn't about something that man's put on it, like religion. It's about relation.
Yep.
And also, too, just kind of going back on like everything we were saying before, like lesser human or anything, I think you always will feel like that again when you're putting like other things in your heart. And I think the really only two other things that I feel like most people put in their heart to feel that sense of worthiness is, one, the acceptance and love by people, and two, money. So they either will feel like, okay, well, I have to do everything that I can to impress someone. And I mean, that's literally all social media is.
Right.
I mean, social media is all
like you were talking about
just
this
putting the
day.
best points of your life on display, and
Right.
that's it. And it's so funny because I was looking at I was on Facebook and I was scrolling through. Yeah, I still scroll on Facebook. And I was on Facebook and I was scrolling through, and there was this like meme, and it was like a pair of Yeezys, but they were called Easy. Well, it wasn't a meme. It was a photo of taken at like a discount store or something, and it was called Easy Slides. And then someone commented like, "Oh, this is where all of y'all are getting your Yeezys from." And it just made me laugh and made me think of like, wow, people really are making like fake Yeezy slides, wearing fake Easy slides. It's really the Easy slides.
Right.
Wearing fake Louis Vuittons, wearing fake designer, buying all these things, not for necessarily them, but just so that when they wear it and go out, they can have that, impression upon other people that I'm wealthy, I am successful, I live a life of luxury.
Right.
Why people post on social media when they're on trips and doing all these things and eating good foods and going on expensive stuff or buying expensive things or buying a home or buying a car. It's just to give off that illusion again that I have accomplished something successful in this life.
Right.
And again, it's all tied to the worldly material things to get basically to get people to say like, wow, you are amazing or something. I don't know.
There's literally no point.
To like it and to comment it, and
there's literally no point. It's honestly just because everyone else is doing it. I mean, what are we called in the Bible? We're called sheep.
Mm-hmm.
And what does sheep do? All we do is follow.
Like, I just find it so funny. Remember, we were at San Diego and we were at the beach, and like all my sister wants to do is like take pictures. But like what all the kids do these days is they just, I don't know,
they
take
just
a lot of pictures of themselves.
They go to places to take pictures.
And not even to experience it.
And I had to stop myself because I was doing the same thing when we were going on trips.
Was just taking
I need
so
to make
many
content.
pictures.
I need to make content. I need to make content, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, wait a minute. Did I even see Disneyland?
Mm-hmm.
Or was it through my phone? If I wanted to look at Disneyland through my phone,
you could have just looked online.
I could have just went on YouTube and just watched somebody film a park tour.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's crazy. It's 100% crazy. And it's like what Eric Thomas was talking about today. You know, people want to have the illusion
that they're successful. They don't actually
don't want to be successful. They just want to have the illusion of success.
They just want to snap a picture with someone who is successful and be like, "Oh, I know this person. They're the homie. Like, I know them. Like, oh, you know me. You know what I mean? Like, it's all about this image of, I don't know, that we all feel like we need to uphold in this life." And it's so interesting to see because, and it's easy to fall into. I mean, I'm the same way, like, and I think when the worst part of all is when we start to find our worth in it.
Yeah.
Like, I am only important and I'm not a loser, a failure if I have X, Y, Z. If I have a good job, I have a home I own, and I have like,
I work for Microsoft.
Whatever. Or
I work
like
for, whatever.
Yeah. Like if
whatever
I am,
title.
and whatever. And it's just like, that isn't true. That isn't true.
Right.
And you have to just be so wary of what everyone tries to tell you to do with your life.
Mm-hmm.
Because then, again, anything that you do for someone else, you will always find yourself unfulfilled.
Mm-hmm. It'll never be enough.
Like, I think if we can look more inwards and if we could work more at building a relationship with God, I think we'll find ourselves more fulfilled than we would if we got ourselves in, whatever we think we need.
But that's
insert
hard to
whatever you
believe.
feel like you need on earth.
That's hard to believe for most people, to be honest. Right? Isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's that simple. It can't be that simple. It's just like, unfortunately, yes, it is that simple. And I think us as humans, we love complication. We love intricacy. And you want to know why? Because
that's what the devil can do.
Nope.
You know what I mean?
We love to be able to cop out. That's why we want it to be more difficult than it is. We want to have an excuse to be able to say, I can't. Like, oh, it's too hard. I don't want to get to know God because then I have to go to church and then I have to pray and then I need to know the Bible and then I have to go do this. We want it to be too hard. No, all you got to do is just accept God in your heart. And it's that simple. I think as humans, we love things to be hard so we can pop out and say, well, it was just too hard. And it's true. The devil is in the details, like what you were saying. It is in the he is in the details. He loves confusion. Because what's the opposite of confusion? It's clarity. And if you ever don't have clarity in your life, that's not God.
God will never confuse you.
Never. He will always give you a clear path. Mm-hmm. So if you feel confused right now, take a step back, check yourself, because you got something else in your life.
Yeah. And talk to God and ask him to, like, there's like one of the most powerful prayers I feel like I've ever prayed was to ask him to reveal himself to me in the path that I should follow. In whatever it is, it could be something as so simple as, like, I don't know, like a basic decision to something super deep with like, what am I supposed to do now in my life? You know what I mean? And he shows up every single time if you ask him, right? That famous prayer of ask and you shall receive, knock and the door shall be opened. And it's true, if you do seek it out, like you will find it. And when it comes to like joy and utmost peace, if you seek that in your relationship with God, you will find it and it will come to you. But the problem is we get clouded and confused with this idea of the reason we're put on earth is to live this happy life and to be chasing happiness. And we end up finding happiness through, again, worldly things because it does feel good when you get it. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I feel good when I go shopping. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I'm like sad buying all these new things. Right. Or like, it feels good to, don't get it twisted, all that kind of stuff.
But you won't
that isn't the point of
you
life.
You won't find joy.
Yeah.
You won't find joy in that stuff.
And it'll never feel enough.
Happiness and joy are two completely different things. Mm-hmm. I can't remember what pastor it is, but he went and spoke at Stephen Furtick's church. And he was talking about that. He started off his sermon and he was just like, I'm not concerned about your happiness today. Because happiness will come and go. Happiness is based off of happenstance. So what's happening to you right then and there in that moment? I'm concerned about your joy today.
Right.
Which has to be sought out. Happiness just happens. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, wow, I'm happy today. It just happens. There's no reason behind it. Mm-hmm. Where joy has to be sought out. And he went on to talk about how the Bible is not about you. And that's a good sermon. Man, I need to know, remember his name. But the Bible is not about you, and it's about God.
Right.
That's simple. It is a story about God. And a lot of the times, it's called narcissism. Mm-hmm. We are narcissistically placing ourselves in the story as Jesus. Mm-hmm. And like we go to church and we're like, wow, I needed this message today. This is God trying to tell me that I need to do so-and-so through the story of Job. Or do so-and-so through the story of Joseph. I see myself in Joseph. I see myself in Jesus. No. The main character is God story, not you. And really the whole point of the Bible is to glorify God, to glorify his name. It's that simple. So I don't even know why. That was a complete tangent. But I thought that was kind of funny. But it's about joy. It's about finding joy in your life, and it has to be found. You have to pursue it. Have to go after it. It doesn't just happen to you.
Yep. And I think through that you will find true worthiness and realizing that you are enough because you have God with you. So yeah, that was just like some of the big things that we just felt like we wanted to share. Was there anything that you wanted to add or?
No, I don't think so. Put some comments down below. Review our podcast.
Yeah.
I know we have people that are downloading it on a weekly basis, which is amazing. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
We do not take your for lack of a better word, loyalty lightly. Support. There it is. Mm-hmm. That's the word. We don't take your support lightly, and we appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for downloading every single week. Leave a comment on whatever streaming platform that you use. That helps us get our name out there and helps us spread this podcast even more so we can have more people tapping in and joining the conversation on this. Let us know what you guys think about some of the stuff that we talked about today. We'd love to start to have conversations about these things and learning from you guys. We want it to be a community of of believers all stretching and learning from each other. I think that's what we were meant to do anyway. So, other than that,
Psalms 121, verse 1 through 2. I thought I just sounded like a flight attendant.
Psalms 121, verses 1 through 2. You're going to see that in the back of the airplane. We're going to have it on the...
I lift my eyes up to the mountain. Where does my help come from?
Left and right and up and down.
My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. That was the verse that inspired the name of this podcast. Right. So we say it every time to just remind us that our help will always come from the Lord, no matter what, right. Through anything. So thank you guys for listening. Catch us at the Look Up Pod on TikTok, on Instagram. That Roman manages. So he's on there. But we appreciate you all, and we love you guys so much. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
God bless.